Hey guys, this is Anshus270 here. I've got my Ruger 1022 and I was cleaning it today. Decided to do a video to teach all of you on YouTube how to disassemble, clean, and reassemble your Ruger 1022. Right now I've got it broken down to save a little bit of video time. If you can't break it down to take the stock off, you should not continue. So your barrel band, screwdriver, just loosen the screw, take your barrel band off, set it to the side. That's where I put all my pins. There's a screw right here. That's what holds the action in place. You loosen it, the action comes off. One thing to note when you take the action and barrel out is make sure your safety is set in the mid position, or you're going to get some marks on your stock from the safety hitting it as you pull it out. So I'm going to set the stock aside. Make sure you have it unloaded. So take your magazine out, and you do this before you even start. So you take your magazine out, you pull your bolt to the rear, check the chamber. Alright, it's clear, I can continue. You get to this point. Now you're going to need an Allen wrench to take, if you're going to take the barrel out. If not, you can kind of skip ahead a couple minutes. So you loosen it up. It's going to take a longer time. I had it pre-loosened a little bit. These are some really long screws, but that's good because it's what's holding your barrel in, and you don't want your barrel coming out. Alright, so just set that next to your barrel band. I'm not cleaning the barrel right now. I already cleaned it. You can use a bore snake or you can use a cleaning rod. I would prefer a bore snake though. You just drop a little brass piece down, it comes out the end, you pull it through, and it's one and done. You're good. With a cleaning rod system like you could get at Walmart, I definitely would not recommend one of those low-end 3-piece brass cleaning rods. It can mess up your barrel, even though it is brass. It'll round out like the crown or any other contact surface you're gonna be touching with it. So with that, you would have to. What I do is I put a patch down, just a clean patch. I put an oiled patch, take the brush, dip it in hoppies or some other type of gun oil, and you push that through, you scrub the barrel a little bit, and then now you made a bigger mess in your barrel. You need to go back through with patches and clean it out until the patches come out clean. So you set your barrel aside, and now you've got your action right here. So you've got, in your action, or the receiver will say, you have your trigger group, you have your bolt, your charging handle, and the receiver itself. So to remove the trigger group, you've got 2 pins, one at each end. They're on the same axis. You should be able to pick them out. There's only 3 pins on there, so you just knock the pins out, put them in your barrel band. Too easy. This comes out. Now, to clean this, you just take a Q-tip, get in there, clean it all good. I've already cleaned this. So I'm not going to go through that. And just there's going to be dust, dirt, a little bit of carbon and powder. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your gun oil. You're going to want to clean the outside. That's just to prevent rust. You don't want your guns, obviously you don't want them, I hope you don't. You don't want your guns to get any rust on them. So just a thin film for rust prevention. You set your trigger group to the side. Alright, now you've got your bolt and your charging handle and your receiver. What you're going to do is you're going to just pull it to the rear, and first what you're going to do is you're going to punch out this buffer pin right here. It's the larger of the 3, and then you're just going to pull your bolt back. It's going to stay. Well, now you can just put a little pressure on it. It comes out. Your bolt comes out. That's where your firing pin is, and the claw that grabs the round when it goes to pull it out. Now you've got your charging handle. I'm going to set it to the side for now. Now what you're going to want to do to your receiver is it's probably going to be, it's what's holding all the carbon on the inside. Anything that doesn't come out the ejection port here when the round cycles or the barrel or one of the other smaller crevices, it's gonna be what catches all the carbon, powder buildup, any brass flakes from your shells as it cycles, any copper flakes from if you use high velocity rounds. So you're going to want to clean that. What I would say is take your hoppies, take the cap off, just take your finger, put it over, splash it up, just clean in there real good. This is just a shop cloth from an auto parts store. You can get it at any auto parts store. You can probably get them at Walmart too. So you clean that all out. What you're going to do is you're going to take your gun oil or gun lubricant. If you've got one that's made specifically to lubricate the gun, then go ahead and use it. But this is says it prevents rust and lubricates the gun. This is Outer's gun oil. It comes in one of those kits that I really don't use. But what you're going to do is you're just going to take your gun oil. You're going to put, say, 3 drops on this side. Rub it in with your finger and wipe off the excess. Say 2-3 drops on the top portion of the receiver where your bolt's sliding. And you can see right here there's a little bit of finish missing from the bolt sliding back and forth. So just lube that up. And on the side of the ejection port, just 1 or 2. Just get it all good. Wipe out all the excess. Gun lubricant, what it does is it catches all that, all your grit and grime. And if you use a whole lot of it, that's more grit and grime it's going to catch, and your gun can gum up, jam up, whatever you happen to call it. And you don't want that. So I'm going to put the receiver to the side. Now your bolt, this is what moves the most, so you want to clean it. You want to keep your bolt clean, because when all the carbon and powder buildup gets on there, it's going to act like sandpaper, just moving back and forth. And that's what happened right here, where you can see a little bit of finish missing, and just rubbed it off. Now, what you're going to want to do is just wipe it down like you did your receiver. And then right here, these grooves, you're going to want to put a little bit of gun oil in there. And, you know, I use the Q-tip to spread it out. Back here, you're going to want to clean. That's just for aesthetic purposes. You're cleaning it anyway, so you might as well clean the whole thing. And then right here, next to the frying pan, you're going to want to get that real good. Like I said, the Q-tip's good for getting in these little crevices. So the corners, just take it and spin it. Yeah, that's as much as you can do there. And just take your lube, and do this earlier, and put a drop, say on the side right here. Just, I'll use a Q-tip. The Q-tip's going to soak up most of it, so you're going to get a good even spread. And any of the moving, the contact surfaces, we'll call them, are what you're going to want to make sure are nice and clean and nice and lubed. You're going to want that film on there. I'll even go back through and redo this. Take another Q-tip, spread it down. Alright, throw that away. Throw this away, it's done. Alright, so your bolt's done. Your charging handle, guide rod, and buffer spring, that's going to have a good bit of carbon as well, because it's up there and the receiver catching everything the receiver's catching. So you can just take it, make sure you have something padded, push your bolt down, your charging handle I mean, and just rub the side of it. You're not going to be able to get all of it, because I don't know of a way to take the spring off. I wouldn't want to anyway. But as long as you can even go over it like this, just you know, grip it and let it slide off. Alright, so that's clean. Also, one other point is to make sure you're putting a little bit of lube right in the groove that slides with the bolt. You can never lube too many places. Just you can use too much. So if you've got a doubt about it, go ahead, put some lube on there. You're not going to hurt anything. Lube's cheap. Take to reassemble it, since that's what we've got the inside's clean. Reassemble it. There's a little part that comes up right here. You're going to be able to see it. It's got a little detent where the pointed end of your guide rod goes. And then you're going to want to just take your finger and pull pull your charging handle back. Alright, and you hold it back, and you're going to want this groove here to match up with your bolt. Or you want the groove in your bolt to match up with your charging handle. So, and I'm going to have to start that over, but it's a little bit tricky to do the first couple times. And even if you've broken this apart several times, it can still give you a couple problems. So you're holding it back, like I said. You just want to get it in there, push it, and when you get it in place, you'll feel it start to slide forward, and it will stay. If you don't have it and it starts to slide forward, it's just the bolt's going to just fall out. So you've got that back in there. So take your buffer pin, pop it back in. Alright. Now I'm going to show you two ways. The first time I did it, this is how I put it back together, and this is the wrong way. If you're following along in this video, don't just watch for educational purpose. Don't follow along this part. Alright, so you've got your trigger group going back in. Take your pen. I like to start with the back pin because it's just a little easier. Once you get it set, you can get the front pin a little easier. Alright, there's that. Front pin's lined up. Alright, so that's the wrong way to do it. You can hear, I can hear at first something sliding around in there when I tip it. And that's your ejector. And when you go to pull it back, it's not going to cycle all the way. So, what you're going to want to do, well, it'll cycle if you got it upside down. If you got it here, that gets in the way. Now it's dropped out of the way. Well, it's still not doing it. It was doing it a little bit for me earlier. It was going back further than that. But either way, unless you're shooting like a 22 bullet itself, and this won't do it, you're going to need to go back and do this the right way. So if you were watching, you can start following along now. There's a notch in the front of your trigger group, and then there's this part that just swings freely. You're going to want to put that in that notch, line it up, when you go to put your trigger group back in. And that way, as I'll show you in a minute, you don't cycle. So, we've got the trigger group back in, our action is fully reassembled, and it cycles. It's not locking up in there at all. I know that's, until I figured that out, I had problems with that. When you put your barrel back in, you want to make sure it falls in with your extractor. So, you can twist it like that. Now I'll pull the bolt back to simulate not having it lined up with the extractor. It'll just spin freely. And if it's not lined up correctly, you're going to have some problems. Alright, so now we're going to go put the barrel retention screws back in. These are really long screws. They're going to take a long time to put back in. You don't want to over snug them. If you over snug them, this is aluminum, it will strip. So you got to be careful with that. What I recommend is take your Allen wrench and just hold it like this. That way you're not going to be able to over tighten it. You shouldn't be able to over tighten it. Unless you've got Hulk hands or something like that, then you're probably going to not be able to use this little rifle anyway. Alright, so I've got that side, and you want to just do both of them a little bit at a time until you get them all the way. Alright. So we've got that. Now we can start to tighten it down. Once you get it in like this is when you really want to start alternating back and forth. Because you don't want too much, you don't want more torque on one side than the other. Alright, so that's good. It's back together. So to prevent rust, just take your rag, take some gun oil, put it on there, and unless you take your action out of stock a lot, you're not going to get under here a lot. And if you don't clean your rifle a lot, that's the part that's going to get the rust, because you go out squirrel hunting, rabbit hunting, it's raining, then you're going to get barrel collecting in the barrel channel of your stock, or you're going to get water collecting in the barrel channel of your stock, and it's going to cause rust a little bit. You don't want your gun to rust. All right. Oops. So now we're going to go put the action back into the stock. There you go. Now you take your screwdriver. Tighten it up. Don't tighten this too much either. I just do it finger tight. Again, aluminum. Same thing with the barrel band. The barrel band is, as soon as I know the barrel is not going anywhere, I'm good. In the barrel band, I don't want it to slide, so I just check it with my thumb. It's not sliding anywhere. And now you've cleaned your Ruger 10/22. It's back together. Put your magazine in. Do a function check. It works. It cycles. Magazine's in. You've just cleaned your Ruger 10/22. Now you can go out and point, have fun with it. And until next time, next gun, I'm on Shoots 270. Y'all have a good day.